LiAngelo Ball was ranked as the 39th best shooting guard in the 2017 college basketball recruiting class, so we're the 38 guards ranked higher than him now. Well, to start at number 38 is Khalil Garland, coming out of Little Rock, Arkansas, who committed to play for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Sadly, though, he never played a single minute of college basketball as he'd be diagnosed with a heart condition during a physical and had to end his career. And now he currently works as a sales associate at Reliant Energy. And coming in at number 37 is Andrew Platek, coming out of New York, who committed to play for North Carolina. And in his 4 years with the Tar Heels, he was a complete bust, so he transferred to Siena in 2022, where he was solid for 2 seasons but never made to the NBA. And now he's currently an athletic relations coordinator at Tech Student Audio. And at number 36 is Jordan Shackle, coming out of Torrance, California, who committed to play for San Diego State. And in his 4 years of college basketball at San Diego State, he got better every single year, having a very good senior season, but still sadly went undrafted in 2021. And he did get to see some playing time in the NBA with the Wizards, but was overall just a bust and is currently playing for the Maine Celtics. And cracking into the top 35 is Christian David, coming out of Vermont, who committed to play for Butler. And in his 5 years of college basketball at Butler, he was a complete bust, never making it to the NBA. And at number 34 is RJ Nembhard, coming out of Keller, Texas, who committed to play for TCU. And in his 4 seasons of college basketball at TCU, he improved every single season, having an amazing senior year. Despite this, though, he still went undrafted in 2021, signing with Miami Heat, where he actually got to see some playing time but began to bounce around the league and G League. And coming in at 33 is AJ Oliver, coming out of Central South Carolina, who committed to play for Clemson. And he never played a single minute at Clemson, transferring to Old Dominion, where he was solid there for 3 seasons but never made it to the league. And at number 32 is Greg Elliott, coming out of Michigan, who committed to play for Marquette. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Marquette, he was good but never great, so he transferred to Pitt in 2022, where he was solid but also never amazing. And now he currently works as a basketball camp counselor. And at number 31 is Darius McNeil, coming out of Houston, Texas, who committed to play for California. And in his first 2 seasons of college basketball at California, he was good. But then he began to go on a transferring carousel, transferring to SMU, UTSA, and Troy, where he was overall just never that amazing. Now he currently works as a grant specialist. And cracking into the top 30 is Ellis Harding, coming out of Atlanta, Georgia, who committed to play for Xavier. And he was a complete bust at Xavier for 2 seasons, transferring to Jacksonville State. And after that, he played 1 more season of college basketball, but which was just overall never amazing. And at number 29 is Mark Smith, coming out of Edwardsville, Illinois, who committed to play for Illinois. He played 1 season there before transferring to Missouri, where he was great there for 3 seasons, and then transferring to Kansas State. And in his 1 season at Kansas State, he was truly dominant, being named to the Big 12 All-Newcomer team, but now is currently playing in the Japanese Basketball League. And coming in at number 28 is Thomas Allen, coming out of Gardner, North Carolina, who committed to play for Nebraska. He was a very solid player at Nebraska for 2 seasons before transferring to NC State, where he was also solid for 2 years, but never made it to the league. And at number 27 is Jordan Usher, coming into Canton, Georgia, who committed to play for USC. And he was a very solid player at USC for 2 seasons before transferring to Georgia Tech, where he was dominant there for 3 years. He never made it to the NBA, though, and is currently playing in the National Basketball League in Australia. And coming in at number 26 is Devontae Shuler, coming out of Columbia, South Carolina, who committed to play for Ole Miss. And he was completely dominant in his 4 seasons of college basketball at Ole Miss, but somehow still went undrafted, never playing a minute in the NBA, and is now currently playing in the BNXT League. And cracking into the top 25 is Mitchell Ballack, coming out of Kansas, who committed to play for Creighton. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Creighton, he was great, but went undrafted in 2021, signing with the Sixers, but never played a minute in the league. And at number 24 is Jace Febres, coming out of Houston, Texas, who committed to play for the Texas Longhorns. And overall, he was a very solid player at Texas for 5 years, but was never great and never made it to the NBA. And coming in at number 23 is Kobe King, coming out of Wisconsin, who committed to play for the Wisconsin Badgers. And in his 3 years of college basketball there, he was actually pretty solid. But then he was forced to leave the program and had to transfer to Valpo for 2 seasons, where he was solid but never great and never made it to the NBA. And at number 22 is Herbert Jones, coming out of Mountville, Alabama, who committed to play for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And in his 4 years of college basketball there, he was truly dominant, as he be named the SEC Defensive Player of the Year and the SEC Player of the Year. And this allowed him to be selected in the 2nd round of the 2021 NBA draft by the Pelicans, where he's been very good for them for the last 4 years. And at number 21 is Keith Williams, coming out of Brooklyn, New York, who committed to play for Cincinnati. And he played 4 years at Cincinnati, improving every single season and became great, but sadly never made to the NBA and is currently playing in the German leagues. And just cracking into the top 20 is Miles Cale, coming out of Delaware, who committed to play for Seton Hall. And he would go on to play 5 years of college basketball at Seton Hall, where he was very solid and is currently playing in the Italian Basketball League. And at number 19 is Jordan Poole, coming out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, who committed to play for Michigan. And he played 2 years of college basketball at Michigan, where he was good but never great, but would still be selected 28th overall in the 2019 NBA draft by Golden State. And in his 4 years with Golden State, he improved mightily and became one of the better scorers in the league. He won a championship with them, but after that in 2023, they traded him off to the Wizards, where he's been solid for the last 2 years. And coming in at number 18 is Alex O'Connell, coming out of Georgia, who committed to play for Duke. And he played 3 years at Duke, where he was kind of underwhelming before transferring to Creighton for 2 seasons. But after 5 years of college basketball, he never made it to the professionals. And at number 17 is J.J. Chandler, coming out of Katy, Texas, Texas, who committed to play for Texas A&M. And he was a very solid player at Texas A&M for 4 seasons before transferring to South Alabama, where he was great there for 1 year. And now he is currently playing professional basketball in Hungary. And coming in at number 16 is Tyshawn Alexander, coming in at North Carolina, who committed to play for Creighton. And in his 3 years of college basketball at Creighton, he was flat out dominant and was a prolific scorer, but still went undrafted in 2021, signing with the Suns. And he actually did see some playing time in the NBA, but is currently playing in Iceland. And cracking into the top 15 is Jamarl Baker, coming out of Los Angeles, California, who committed to play for Kentucky. And he's a wild college basketball career, as he began at Kentucky before transferring to Arizona for 2 years, and then transferring to Fresno State for 2 seasons, and then finishing up his career at New Mexico. And he was a good player at times, but now currently works as a senior sales manager. And at number 14 is LJ Figueroa, coming out of Florida, who committed to play for New Mexico. He never played there due to coaching changes, and he actually played for Odessa College during his freshman season. And he was great there, and then transferred to St. John's for 2 seasons before he was flat out dominant there. After that, in 2020, he transferred to Oregon, where he had 1 more great season of college basketball, but still went undrafted and is currently playing in the German basketball leagues. And coming in at number 13 is Jalen Noel, coming out of Seattle, Washington, who committed to play for the Washington Huskies. And in his 2 years of college basketball with the Huskies, he was flat out dominant, as he'd be named the Pac-12 Player of the Year. And this allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2019 NBA draft by the Minnesota Timberwolves. He's currently in his 5th season in the NBA and has been a very solid role player, currently playing with the Wizards. And at number 12 is Josh Anderson, coming out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, who committed to play for Western Kentucky. And he was a very good player at Western Kentucky for 5 seasons, but never made it in professional basketball. Now he currently works as a healthcare project manager. And at number 11 is Jordan Goodwin, coming out of Illinois, who committed to play for St. Louis. And in his 4 years of college basketball at St. Louis, he's flat out dominant, as he was named a 2-time first-team All-Atlantic 10. Despite this, though, he went undrafted in 2021, signing with Washington, where he has seen some playing time in the league and is currently playing for the Lakers. And cracking into the top 10 is Chaundi Brown, coming out of Orlando, Florida, who committed to play for Wake Forest. And in his 3 years at Wake Forest, he was great before transferring to Michigan for his senior season, where he was also solid. And he went undrafted in the NBA, but did see some playing time and is currently playing in the French leagues. And at number 9 is Nickeil Alexander-Walker, coming out of Toronto, Ontario, who committed to play for Virginia Tech. And he was an amazing basketball player at Virginia Tech for 2 seasons, which allowed him to be selected 17th overall in the 2019 NBA draft. And so far in the NBA, he's never been amazing, but has been a solid role player. And at number 8 is MJ Walker, coming out of Lithia Springs, Georgia, who committed to play for Florida State. And in his 4 years at Florida State, he was solid, improving every single season, and did get to see a little bit of playing time in the NBA with the Suns, but is now currently playing in the New Zealand National Basketball League. And at number 7 is Josh Petty, coming out of Huntsville, Alabama, who committed to play for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And in his 4 years of college basketball at Alabama, he was flat out dominant, being named a first-team All-SEC selection. Sadly, though, he went undrafted in 2021 and never played a minute in the NBA. And coming in at number 6 is Charles O'Bannon Jr., who committed to play for USC. And he was a complete bust at USC for 3 seasons before transferring to TCU in 2020. And in total, he played 7 seasons of college basketball and was solid but never great, going undrafted in 2024 and currently playing in the G League. And cracking into the top 5 is Brandon Randolph, coming out of Yonkers, New York, who committed to play for Arizona. And in his 2 years of college basketball at Arizona, he was a very good player but went undrafted in the NBA and never played a minute in the league. And coming in at number 4 is Ethan Thompson, coming out of Torrance, California, who committed to play for Oregon State. He was flat out dominant in his 4 years of college basketball at Oregon State, but went undrafted in 2021 and is currently now playing with the Orlando Magic. And cracking into the top 3 is Gary Trent Jr., coming out of Napa, California, who committed to play for Duke. And in his 1 year of college basketball at Duke, he was flat out amazing and was going to be selected in the second round of the 2018 NBA draft by Portland. And it took him a while, but once he joined the Raptors, he became one of the better scorers in the league and is currently playing for the Bucks. Coming in at number 2 is Lonnie Walker, coming out of Reading, Pennsylvania, who committed to play for Miami. And in his 1 year of college basketball at Miami, he was a great player, which allowed him to be selected 18th overall in the 2018 NBA draft by the Spurs. Sadly, just overall, he was kind of a bust in the NBA, bounced around many different teams and playing in the Lithuanian Basketball League, but just recently signed with the 76ers. And at number 1 is Hamidou Diallo, coming in New York, who committed to play for Kentucky. And in his 1 season of college basketball at Kentucky, he was a very solid player, which allowed him to be selected in the second round of the 2018 NBA draft. And overall, in the NBA, at times he was solid, but just was never really that great, bounced around many different leagues and teams, and is currently playing in the Chinese Basketball Association.